Spectaculi! Why do women ruin everything?
What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out, man. Acolyte episode 3 just dropped. All right, most of y'all saw it, or maybe you didn't see it. You know, I don't know who's watching this thing. All right, except us poor slugs on YouTube that are doing it for the people. But yeah, it just dropped, and is it as bad as we thought it was going to be? No, it's worse. This is worse than everybody's expectations. This thing is utter garbage. All right. Literally the worst piece of Star Wars content I've ever seen, you know, and that's saying something from the same company that did the Book of Boba Fett. You know, I was saying on Echo Base, yo, Boba Fett, man, we might have been too harsh on you. All right. Might have been a little bit too cruel on you. We didn't know the Acolyte was coming down the road. This thing is a dumpster fire, yo. I mean, absolute hot, pissy, smelly shorts garbage. I mean, what the hell is happening over there at Lucasfilm, man? This thing broke everybody's expectations. This is as bad as it is. You can see the audience score for Rotten Tomatoes is now in the 25 percentile, all right? It's dropping. I mean, every episode is just going to get worse and worse. I don't know how we're going to make it through the next 5 weeks. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this on the next 5 weeks. Every Tuesday, man, it's going to feel like I got like an appointment to go to the dentist to get a root canal or something. Like, shit, I gotta watch that Acolyte. God damn. It's gonna feel like that, man. It's gonna feel like I'm literally going to like sit in a DMV office for the next 6 hours and just have to deal with this crap. All right. Root canal at the DMV. Like, that's literally what the Acolyte is, man. One of the most miserable experiences you ever had, but I do it for the people. All right. So this thing started off bad. All right. It starts off with these two sisters talking in the forest. Okay. And look, let me say this right off the bat. The little actresses that played May and Osha, we can't really get mad at them. It's not their fault that they didn't act well in this thing at all, okay? Blame the adults, all right? Blame the writers, you know, blame the directors. All the adults are the ones at fault. I can hear people already, oh my God, you guys are ripping on little actresses. It's Jake Lloyd all over again. It's not their fault, all right? It's not their fault that the adults in the charge of Star Wars right now are a bunch of incompetent morons, all right? I don't blame them for that, okay? I don't blame the little girls for that. I do absolutely blame Leslie Headland, Kathleen Kennedy, Dave Filoni, and everybody over there at Lucasfilm, all right? It's absolutely their fault. But in any case, you know, they were doing this little he is I and I am him, you know, we're all together, we're our family and all that nonsense. This thing is stupid. All right. They didn't act it well and it's poorly written. All right. So, yeah, that's that. But in any case, you know, they run into their you know, they had Saul. Saul is watching them. All right. Keeping his eye on them, seeing if they can use the Force and all that kind of crap. But yeah, they ran into the mother and then the mother was upset with them. All right. You know, one of the mothers, the Zabrak, was upset with them. She says, get out of here. You're not supposed to be running away from home or whatever. They ask her if they can have snacks. She says, no snacks till you brush your teeth or whatever. You know, it's really retarded nonsense. Then the black mother comes in, all right? So this is the quote-unquote creator. The Zabrak is I guess, the carrier. She's the one that carried them. Yes, two lesbians created two kids, all right? And I guess they took after the mother. I guess they took after the mother or whatever. I don't know what we're doing here, man. This sure as hell ain't Star Wars, all right? I can tell you that right now. But yeah, the Zabrak is, you know, kind of like, you know, we need to get them ready for the ceremony. Look, this scene right here, man, I'm telling you, I thought she was coming in for the kiss, all right? I thought she was coming in for some lip lock action. They didn't do it, all right? But I thought they were going to do it. And yeah, man, this was some cringy dialogue here as well, man. Everything in this series is just 1000% cringe, all right? Oh, and then, yeah, here's the scene where they're explaining the quote-unquote thread, all right, which is their version of the Force. And essentially what they're saying is, yeah, the Force is what, you know, we call the thread is what we call the Force. The worst part about this is that they say that the thread, you know, is not a power you can wield. Okay, it's not a power you can wield. And then 5 seconds later, she's like using the Force, you know. Like you can see these two witches came up here and then she's got the arms out, bam, like she's using the Force. You just said that the Force or the thread is not a power you can wield. So explain yourself, lady. Yeah, she can't. She can't because this entire thing is just made for morons. You know, made by morons for morons. Oh, and then they started doing this power of one, power of two. Yeah, so two people come up and that's the power of two. One person comes up, it's the power of one. And tonight you will see the power of many. And it's like, what does any of this mean? And what does any of this shit have to do with Star Wars? Nothing. Okay? Nothing whatsoever, man. Utter crap. Yeah, then later on, she's talking to the little Sith Lords here, I guess they're the twins. By the way, they're not twins, man. They don't look nothing alike, okay? Except for the haircuts, that's it. I know they're real-life twins, but they're fraternal twins. They're not identical twins, you know? But Amandla Stenberg is playing an identical twin because it's only one of her playing two people. So I guess they couldn't find two little black girls that were twins, that were actors or whatever. They just couldn't find it. But anyway, she like forces them to hold hands. That hold hands, tell her you love her. You know, it's just like this weird like moment. Like what's going on here? You know, feels like some cult like behavior, which I guess it is a coven of witches. And then when she like pulls her hand away, yeah, go, hold your sister's hand. It's like, wow, man, this whole thing is just cringy and weird, man. There's nothing interesting going on. Here's the biggest sin that the Acolyte is committing, okay? The biggest sin that the Acolyte is committing is that this shit is just not interesting and these characters are not bringing us into the story, all right? The character is supposed to be something that you experience this story through, you know? But if you're not, you know, rocking with any of these characters because you're not feeling anything for them, you don't really care about the characters. I don't care about this Osha. I don't care about Osha. I don't care what Osha's going through. And it's like, why would I care? Leslie Headland has given us no reason to care about this character other than the fact that she's a girl and she's a lesbian and this is a lesbian coven of witches. And it's like, if you're not in a lesbian coven of witches, you probably are just click, I'm off, I'm done. I don't care. And that's the way all of us feel. It's like, I'm not a lesbian. I don't care about feminism. So what is there for me to identify in this thing with? All right. Why should I care about any character in this? I'm supposed to see not myself with skin color and gender and all that stuff. I'm supposed to see some aspect of this character that makes me say, oh, okay, I understand where this character is coming from. And I don't. There's nothing here that makes me say, okay, I see this character's issues or whatever. Like, she's kind of supposedly like Luke. I want to get off this rock. I want to see a bigger world, see, explore and all that kind of stuff. We understand that by things she said, but not her actions, not her, you know, she's off in the forest at the beginning, like playing with butterflies. All right. And then later on, she like looks at like the Chewbacca character. Let me see if I can jump to that. All right. Later on, she's looking at the Chewbacca character before she burns the temple down or whatever. Yeah. Like this guy, you know, like kind of fixing this speeder bike. And she was looking at him and maybe that's where she gets the idea of being a mechanic, you know, which is a dumb name as well. Maybe that's what that is. But there's no interaction between those two that makes you say, oh, you know, she's become, you know, mechanically inclined. This is something that she now sees as something she wants to do. They actually explore it later because she, you know, while she's in this fire thing, you know, I'm just skipping around because I don't really give a damn at this point. You know, she learns how to like hotwire this little hatch so she can escape while this whole building is on fire. She learns how to hotwire this hatch. All right. I mean, just truly stupid stuff. Like, how did she learn this? You know, where did that come from, man? Yeah, again, this is what we're dealing with. All right. We're just dealing with bad dialogue, bad storytelling, no setup, nothing. All right. Anyway, so we were right about here, right? Again, terrible scene here. You know, we continue to skip ahead. They're getting their hair done and their nails did and all that, getting ready for this stupid ceremony, talking about how they really don't want to be down with it. Well, Osha doesn't. All right. May is excited. Osha isn't. We got this little weird scene here. All right. Where they're just kind of doing this, you know, weird chant, this little cult dance, you know, twisting their arms up. Ooh. Again, witch. Okay. Witchy stuff. This is not Star Wars. Like, where's Star Wars in any of this? There isn't any. All right. This is the scene right here where I was just about to turn the thing off. I was like, all right, I can't do this no more. Right. I can't do this no more, man. This ain't Star Wars at all. People they came to watch Star Wars. Okay. Not a coven of witches. So I don't know what made them think that this thing was going to be, you know, something that Star Wars fans would rock with. This is something for Leslie Headland. All right. That's it. That's all. Something for Leslie Headland. Oh, I was told something during the Echo Base live stream, while they're doing this, again, this weird chant stuff, and their power of one, power of two, power of many. One of the cringiest things I've ever seen. Okay. But I was told something about the two girls, that they're sisters and everything. Apparently Leslie Headland had some sort of falling out with her sister. And I guess they patched it up, they kissed and made up and everything. But that's the reason that this thing is surrounding sisters. That's where the whole Frozen angle comes in. All right, Frozen meets Kill Bill. This Frozen angle for the Acolyte, that's where that comes in. And these two sisters are at odds. They're constantly fighting and snurping and snapping at each other. That's where all of this comes from. It comes from Leslie Headland having some problems with her family. And now she's using this, Star Wars series on Disney Plus to work out her issues instead of sitting her ass on a couch somewhere. Like, yo, Leslie, go sit on somebody's couch and talk it out. Leave Star Wars for Star Wars fans. There's no reason to put this in the Star Wars canon. This is not your therapy session, chick. Like, man, it just makes so much sense, though. And now it's like, why these sisters? Like, I don't understand any of this stuff. Oh, okay. It's Leslie Headland. It's her life. All right. And her way of working out her issues with her sister on Disney Plus. That's basically what this thing is. Okay. Utter trash. Utter trash. So, but yeah, the one girl's kind of looking like, like this one is May. She's excited. She got the little spiral on her head. She wants to become a witch. And, the Osha's like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. All right. But anyway, then in come the Jedi. All right. The Jedi come strolling in like, yo, what's up? Yeah, we here to break up your little party. All right. And here's the one guy that ends up killing himself. He's a Padawan at this time, which I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. A little early for a Padawan. I think he should have been a master by now, at least, right? Or at least a knight, because later down the line, somebody had mentioned this, I think, on the live stream. It's like it only took him 10 years because it took him 6 years to go from Padawan to knight to master, because this is 16 years. This whole time frame is 16 years prior to the events of episodes 1 and 2. And we know in episode 2, he's a master and he kills himself. So, yeah, these people don't know what they're doing, okay? I'm glad somebody had pointed that out on Echo Base, and I was like, well done, sir. You nailed it. But yeah, they want them to like, hey, we got to come out and see your kids. We got to test them to make sure that they ain't, force sensitive or whatever. They first try to keep them from doing it, but then Saul, he does this thing where he comes up and he hands this lightsaber, right? He hands this lightsaber. I think is this the scene here? He hands his lightsaber, yeah, over to Osha. And it's like, why should she care about what a lightsaber is? She's looking at it in awe, like, oh, what is that? Oh my God, what is that? Like, it's just a little metal rod. You've seen those before, all right? This isn't like some primitive temple, all right? They got like, automatic doors and everything we just saw. Again, this whole thing is just desperate nonsense, all right? From somebody that don't really understand Star Wars, and they're just shoving stuff on the screen. The characters are terrible. Oh, yeah, this guy, his eyes go black and roll up inside of his head. I guess, that's something happened to him at this point. I'm thinking whatever the witches did, because they didn't give any reason at all for the Jedi to feel bad about anything, unless that's coming in a later episode. There was nothing in this episode that the Jedi got to feel guilty about. So I'm thinking maybe they did something, programmed his head in some sort of way to feel bad about whatever is about to happen. And that's the reason he offs himself later down. Okay. That's the reason that he felt guilty. And after coming out of his, 10-year, sabbatical, he just drinks poison immediately and offs himself because he feels bad. Yeah, it's totally stupid, man. It's totally stupid. Anyway, yeah, this review is already getting too long. Let's just go ahead, skip ahead. They had this little council session to decide, what are we going to do? They start arguing because, this mother is the carrier, all right, and this is the creator. And she says, the black mother is basically saying, yo, we got to let them do this thing. We don't have a choice. Let the Jedi test them to see if they're force sensitive. We don't have a choice. This mother's saying, no, because I carried them. I should have a say so. And she said, well, I created them and I got the last word. And she says, well, what happens if the Jedi find out how you created them? And it would have been interesting to get some tidbits into that, but we don't get any. All right. We get absolutely nothing at all to care about in this episode. All we get is stuff to laugh at and stuff that makes us scratch your head like this doesn't make sense. That's basically what this is. This doesn't make sense, the episode, not to mention the fact that it's just, like garbage, all right? This old lady gets up, starts talking shit. I mean, it's just so bad, man. Yeah, anyway, then they tell them that they got to go lie to the Jedi, all right? Go lie and make up some shit, when you're on the test. Make up your answers, and that way you don't have to go leave the coven, and, everything will be A-okay. One sister decides, yeah, okay, I'm going to lie. It was May, obviously. May, she's going to lie because she wants to be a witch. And then Osha's like, nah, I'm not lying. Well, she says she'll lie, but then, yeah, we get to the whole, thing where she's looking and checking out, Kel Naka. Oh, hey, looking at this thing that he's fixing, but he doesn't do any training or anything. At no point in time do you get the impression that, she has suddenly become a savant or somehow, mechanically inclined to be able to, short circuit that door and do all of that crap. But yeah, she, comes in and she meets this dude floating in kind of like sitting in the same position that he was in, when he died. Yeah, it's just bad, man. Saul tests her. He pretty much spots that she's a liar during the test. And then he convinces her, hey, do you want to be a Jedi? And she's like, all right, let's be a Jedi, sure. All right. I'm going to run off with these 4 strangers I've never met in my entire life. And I'm going to leave my family and everybody I know my entire life. All right. I'm going to leave all of these people and I'm going to run off and be a Jedi. Because what? It makes no sense. We don't get anything that makes us feel like this is a decision that she would make. All right. Like Luke, at least Luke, when, he left and he goes off to learn with Obi-Wan. All right. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru were dead. And Luke's like, I ain't got nothing left here. All right. I wanted to get out of here anyway, but I was here with my family, but now I ain't got a family. So yeah, let's go. All right. Luke was never going to leave until something happened. She just, oh, okay, yeah, I'll be a Jedi. Sure, I'm outro, And Saul, yeah, he decides that he's going to be the one that, hey, later on the line, after the fire, all right, she tells her mother, yeah, Mom, I want to get up out of here, and then she gives her a hug and says it's all right. She leaves to pack her things, and then May confronts her, takes her little coloring book, and then decides to burn it up, all right? So I'm going to burn your coloring book and, I'm going to set fire to this whole thing. So, yeah. So where's that at? Where she lights, is this where she lights the coloring book on fire? It's like right here, man. Yeah, I burned your coloring book. How you mad? Are you mad? Ha, ha, ha. Like silly, petty nonsense, And it doesn't make sense, all right? Like, she sets fire to this book, and she puts it along the floor, because basically she says, I'm going to kill you because you want to leave and become a Jedi, so I'm going to kill you. The sister that she has said she loves and she doesn't want her to leave and everything, I'm going to kill you, all right? This, like, quick snap decision. I'm going to kill you. It makes me wonder if somebody told her to do that or she got talked into doing it. It didn't make sense, all right? It didn't make sense the way the story was going. But yeah, that's what she decides to do. And so she sets fire to her room, which this small fire at her room, by the way, again, they got electronics and they got stuff like this in this era, but they don't have sprinkler systems. All right. This little fancy temple with all of these sliding doors and everything. Yeah. No sprinkler system to put out a fire. It's got to be fires eventually in which covens that get out of control. Right. I mean, just stupid, man. But anyway, she crawls up out of there. She sees Osha across a bridge. May and Osha are like staring at each other. And then, at this point, May just falls into the abyss. And then that's it, She's like, yeah, we're sisters. I love you. And then down she goes. All right. And then Osha's fallen as well, but Saul slides in at the last minute to save her. Oh, yeah, I love this part, right? All of these witches are dead, all right? There's no fire anywhere around them. It looks like maybe some of the building like kind of maybe crumbled and fell on people, but people would be sitting under rubble, all right? Not laying here on top like this. We were saying, man, this looks like some kind of a weird cult pact. That's what this looks like. It's if anything happens, we're all going to off ourselves, in some weird ritual. That's what this looked like. That's how we were coming to the conclusion, just by the way they're laying and how they look. And so, but, somehow I think the Jedi, that's where the Jedi are going to get blamed and maybe even take the ownership of it. But yeah, this stone, temple in this mountain, burns down. Again, makes no sense. No sense at all. Osha comes to, on the Jedi ship. Saul says, yeah, don't worry. I'll take you and, I'll train you to be a Jedi. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry all of this happened. And look, you're a nice hug, tender hug. I'll take care of you. It's almost like father and daughter. That's how this thing looked. Almost like a father-daughter type of situation. And it's like, I thought Jedi wasn't supposed to have attachments. All right, here this guy is forming an attachment. All right. Yeah, bad writing all the way around. Then it ends with this, May coming back to the, yellow tree, and all of her family is gone. I don't know. Again, very little dirt on her face. Doesn't look hurt at all. Like, all right, maybe she used the Force or the thread or whatever. And then that's it. All right. Based on George Lucas's Star Wars. Yeah, no, this ain't based on George Lucas at all. All right. George Lucas would have spat on this. He would have laughed this out of the room. Hey, get this. Who wrote this? All right. I want to see that person in my office right now. You will never work for this company again. That's how George Lucas would have did it. Anyway, folks, I got to get going, man. But look, this is just utter garbage. All right. This is one of the worst Star Wars things, if not the worst, all right, that I have ever seen. This is hot garbage. Hot garbage. This isn't Star Wars. And I can see why Alan Ing said, hey, this is going to end it for Star Wars. I can see why he said that. But at the same time, I don't even feel like this is Star Wars. If you walked in at any moment in time in this episode, you just kind of strolled in and watched this thing for 5 minutes, you would have thought this was some sort of knockoff, Star Trek, all right? Some sort of weird little knockoff Star Trek show. That's what you would have thought this was. You would not have thought this was Star Wars. It doesn't look like anything that Star Wars has ever done in the past. It's not unique. It's not interesting. It's just stupid. And it's full of ideology. It's packed with Leslie Headland and her ideology and the message. All right. Anyway, folks, that's it. You guys let me know what y'all think. If you saw Acolyte episode 3, all right, not worth your time. If you didn't, you can just go ahead and skip it, but if you're that desperate, if you got that much morbid curiosity, go check it out. Then let me know what you think. But anyway, you guys jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.